Hi guys, Carlos here from Anglers Lifestyle. I'm here with my friend Lailani, and we're going to talk to you guys about the free fishing day that's happening in the state of California. Okay, that's July 7th, that's today, and September 1st. So, what this license free fishing day means. So that means is you can go out and fish on all the lakes here, and for example, East Bay Park. They've got a free fishing license day there that's happening right now. You don't have to pay for the permit that they normally charge, but you do have to pay for parking. So you don't have to have a California state fishing license in order to go fish. But, okay, all the fishing regulations remain in effect, such as bag and size limits, okay, as well as fishing hours, okay? So if you're gonna go catfishing out there, make sure that you're out of those parks like Quarry by 10 p.m. Okay, before you go fishing, first of all, you need to make sure that you have the right gear. You don't have to spend a lot, okay? If you're just starting out, first timers out there, you need to go get yourself some of the appropriate equipment in order to fish correctly, all right? Okay guys, before you go out for this free fishing day, you should get yourself a fairly affordable rod and reel combo. And there's a few out there that you can get, okay? And we're gonna go show you a couple of these products that are available out there. This particular one is from, we purchased it at Dick's Sporting Goods. This is about a $10 deal. It's one of those sale that they had. It's a rod and reel combo, okay, and it's a pretty nice rod and reel. It's a medium power, and it's good enough to do, you know, trouting as well as catfishing, okay. But it's about a let's see, it's a 6-foot rod, I believe. Yes, a 6-foot rod. Like I said, it's a medium power, and the tip is, you know, it's not that flexible, but actually this is probably good for catfishing, okay. So that's one from Dick's Sporting Goods. The other is from, let's see, this one is from Walmart. You've seen me in the videos that I've done thus far. I've used a lot of this Okuma rocks. I really love this Okuma rocks. This one particularly is a 6.5 foot rod. It's also medium power, but compared to the Pinnacle itself has a very stiff tip, whereas the Okuma rocks, the tip of it, it's very flexible, okay. And I like that because for trout fishing, it's nice, it's very sensitive. But it does come with a reel, okay, that already has a monofilament line that's in there, and you know, it has a nice action to it, okay. So compared to I think this has more bearings in this compared to the Pinnacle. Okay, the Pinnacle is a bit stiff, okay? It's not as smooth as what the Okuma rocks has to offer. The Okuma rocks, you know, it's a pretty balanced reel that comes with itself with the rod already. So that's one. And the other rod and reel combo that's also being offered at Walmart at the current moment is these R2F rod and reel combo. Somebody had told me in one of the episodes, it said that R2F means ready to fish. You know, believe it or not, this is one of our very first rod and reel combo when we first started fishing. And the only thing that I changed with this is the line on it, okay? I don't remember if it came with monofilament, but the first thing that you should do, that I highly recommend, is if it does come with these lines, to replace the line with something that's a bit better, okay. But again, this is a rod and reel combo from Walmart. It's a R2F, and this one particularly is a medium light rod and reel. It's a bit more sensitive compared to the other two, okay, bar none. And I also have a video that showed that I was doing top water fishing with this rod and reel combination, and it actually works just fine. Okay, so when you get your rod and reel combo, if it doesn't come with a spooled line already. It usually comes with monofilament, okay, for these combinations. If it doesn't come, I do highly recommend that you guys go ahead and purchase yourself and upgrade the lines. If it comes with one, upgrade the lines with some of these products that are available out there. Okay, P-Line, for example, has a very nice copolymer line. All of my reels right now have 10-pound line as my general all-purpose line. Okay, the P-Line offers a copolymer. As you can see, that's $250. Got that from Walmart, and this one particularly is what I love the most. Okay, I use a lot of these Fluorocoat line. It is fluorocarbon coated. It's made by Casking. All right, and this is really slick. Again, I started fishing, and this is the line that I purchased, and I loaded up all my bait feeder reels with this. And another thing that you should consider is when you upgrade your lines. Okay, I also upgraded my reel. So after fishing for a couple months with these rod and reel combos, I realized that I need more features or different features for my reel. I went ahead and actually replaced some of them with bait feeder reels. And as you all know, I love bait feeder reels. And so I have amassed, okay, quite a few reels here, okay, that I've replaced all my standard reels with. All right, and so here's one of the bigger reels that I've purchased, and don't you love Lailani? She demonstrates all these hand gestures. Anyway, so this particular reel itself is a Hercules, Dr. Fish Hercules reel, and it has a bait feeder, okay, that controls the rear drag, okay, allowing the fish to spool out a little bit and run with that line. So for those fish that's a little bit finicky, it allows them to spool the line as well. Okay, so I have quite a few of these bait feeder reels, and and these are all the Avengers, Okuma Avengers, that I have on my Okuma rocks. So anyway, as you can see here, I've amassed quite a bit of these Okuma Avenger bait feeder reels, and like I said, I love them. They come with 7 bearings plus one, I believe, and they're super smooth as long as you keep them maintained, and you've seen that in one of my videos. So aside from purchasing your rod and reel combo, okay, you still need to get yourself a few tackle. Okay, there's a lot of products out there that will definitely make your head spin. I mean, a lot of products out there. You can end up buying a whole lot of stuff that you will never, ever, ever use. I have a box full of these gear and tackle and products that I purchased in the beginning that I don't even touch at all. Let's narrow it down to some products that you can actually use now when you go out fishing. Okay, we already talked about replacing your main line with copolymer lines, or better lines. Any line other than the standard monofilament that comes with your reel, okay? And the next thing is, of course, purchase yourself sinker weights. Sinker weights, there's a lead restriction at Quarry Lakes. That's drinking water there. So please, 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 new anglers out there, make sure that you guys have steel weights, okay? I believe brass and tungsten also is acceptable there, but Quarry Lakes has a 1-to-1 trade-in program. You give them your lead weight, okay, and they will give you a steel weight equivalent. Okay, so please, please, please get yourself some steel weights and support the restrictions over at Quarry Lakes. Since I buy steel weights, that's all I buy now. I don't buy any lead weights anymore unless I go out and ocean fishing, for example, and that's not that often. But the type of steel weights that I purchase, okay, are these steel bullet weights. Okay, there are other products like Gremlin and all that, but steel weights, okay, of different weight. Again, there's half ounce, there's 3/8, quarter ounce. Okay, I myself have pretty much standardized on the 3/4 ounce because that's the max that my rod spec can handle with respect to the weight it can handle. Okay, so I do suggest 3/4 ounce weight. The next is get yourself some beads. Yes, you can buy fishing beads, but I've tried those as well. Doesn't really work that well for me because, first of all, the plastic beads that are in the same rack as the fishing gear tend to break. They crack. Okay, the moment that weight slams on it after a cast, it just destroys those beads. So what I've done here, smartly, okay, what you do is you go to the aisle of beads, okay, the craft area, or for necklaces and things like that, and you can purchase yourself some glass beads or some very nice harder beads. In this particular one, it comes in several strands, okay, and they come in different colors. Okay, you can be imaginative. You can get black ones, okay, you can get these ones that are white and pink, okay, white and pink, white and red. There's usually a box at Walmart that has these 98-cent package of beads. Okay, it's good for you to invest in these rather than those fishing beads because those beads just break on me. So the next thing that you should invest on are these swivels. Okay, these snap swivels, you can buy them in individual packages. You can also buy this particular one. This one I got from Amazon, and these ones come in different sizes. Okay, they range from this larger size right here, okay, to the smallest size, that you can use for when I use for trout fishing. The larger ones I use for when I go catfishing, and larger really means is the weight that it can hold, the max weight that it can actually support. Okay, so like I said, these comes in different sizes. Okay, so after you've gotten yourself some swivels, okay, the next thing that you should get are hooks. Okay, there are two types of hooks that you should get. Okay, first of all, I myself, okay, if I were to recommend for you to go get yourself some hooks, I would recommend two of them, and one of which is these circle hooks. Okay, these octopus circle hooks, the 5/0 hook, okay, is what I recommend. This is pretty much all purpose. It's shaped correctly, and you can use this for just about any type of fishing with respect to larger baits. Okay, so that's one of my recommendations, the 5/0 circle hook. Okay, and the other is these Owner brand mosquito hooks. Okay, for trout fishing. These are very, very versatile, okay, because I've even caught 7-pound catfish on this number 10 hook. But these are great because you can float all your trout bait with it. You can float these power eggs with worms, okay, and this worked very well. So get yourself two types of hooks. Okay, get yourself circle hooks as well as these mosquito hooks. Okay, so now that you've gotten yourself some hooks, okay, highly recommend that you guys now concentrate on buying leaders. The leader material is what connects the hook, okay, and the snap swivel. Okay, there are two types of leaders material that I recommend, and one of which is this Berkley Vanish. Okay, the Berkley Vanish, this one particularly is a 4-pound fluorocarbon. Okay, it's got a 0 index, so it disappears in water. At least I believe that. Okay, so if the fish don't see it, okay, it's probably good because they can just see my bait. But I use this for trout fishing. Okay, so Berkley Vanish. Okay, and the other is when you are targeting heavier type of fish or larger fish, I would highly suggest that you get yourself these monofilament leaders. This one particularly is from Cast King, and it's a Dura blend. We use this for stripers as well. But this one is 40 pounds. Okay, they range from 20 pounds, 25. Okay, I myself have a 25-pound, and I also use the 40-pound leader. Okay, so you front end that, and of course, you vary the lengths of your leaders, and you've seen that on my videos. For catfishing, I'm straightforward. I just use no more than 12 to 18 inches of leader length. For trout fishing, I vary them from 12 inches all the way to 46 inches, okay, depending on what the lake conditions are. Okay, so get yourself some leader material. Okay, now that you purchase your leader material, it's good for you to learn a few knots. I myself use 2 knots regularly. One is Palomar knot that I use for my number 10 hook, as well as my snap swivel. Okay, and we also use the knotless Snell for these circle hooks. So we're gonna go ahead and show you first of all how to do a Palomar knot. So the first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and insert it through the eye of your hook and then back in. Okay. Okay, once it's in, okay, you've got the loop, do an overhand knot, go over the hook and pull it back and then pull it tight. Okay, obviously when you pull it tight like that, make sure that you wet that knot before you cinch it. So that is the basic Palomar knot. You can do that for your number 10 hook, as well as the barrel swivel or the snap swivel. Here's how would you use the Palomar knot for a snap swivel. So you follow the same method. You go through the eye of the snap swivel, you come around, okay, you hold on to that tag end, okay, and you create yourself a loop, do a basic overhand knot. You need to have nimble fingers apparently. Okay, up and over, and that loop part, you go over the snap swivel, and essentially after that, you wet the line, you pull, and you tighten that. See, the Palomar knot is perfect for that type of application. The next hook that we're going to show you is called a knotless Snell. Okay, so you go through the eye. Okay, well, first of all, let's show that. Okay, this is the circle hook. Okay, the circle hook itself has a bent eye. Okay. Okay, so the first thing that you do is you insert the tag end of your leader line, okay, into the eye. You hold on to your hook, okay, and you wrap your line tight into the shaft of the hook itself. About 7 to 8 times is more than enough. And as you come around, come onto the back side of the eye, and you thread through, and you pull it tight, holding your hook, holding it tight, okay, and pulling the tag and pulling that line. And as you can see right there, you don't really need a sophisticated Snell to hold on to one of these circle hooks. That's actually more than enough, okay, and it's guaranteed to work perfectly. That'll never come off, especially with these 25-pound leader and there's 40-pound leader lines, okay? After learning the Palomar knot and the knotless Snell, your all-purpose knot for, you know, swivels or hooks essentially is the uni knot. This is the fisherman's knot. Okay, so what we're gonna do is show it to you using a large rope and a ring. Okay, let's pretend that this is the eye of the hook. So you run your main line onto the eye. Okay, and then you go around several times. You twist it. You know, 3, 4, 5 times is good. You go through the hole that you've created. Okay, and back onto that, and you cinch it. After you cinch it, okay, it should tighten up on that tag, okay, onto the eye of the hook. So as you can see, it almost looks like a noose, but the tag itself is cinched up that way. Okay, this is a good knot for you to use as a general purpose knot for your hooks as well as your swivel. Okay, so don't forget, practice on that uni knot. So we're going to show it to you one more time. Okay, again, pretend that this is the eye of the hook. You go through with your main line. Okay, and you go around several times, 4 or 5 times is more than enough. And you go through the loop portion and you pull it back in. And then after that, you don't forget to wet your line and you cinch it. Okay, as you can see, that noose okay, it cinches on the tag line. And then after that, you can go ahead and just snip the tag line. Okay, leave a little bit, a small portion, in order for that knot so it doesn't come off. Okay, so definitely learn the uni knot. Okay, now that you've learned a few knots, it's good not to concentrate on what type of bait you're gonna use. So I am a trout fisherman, and I'm also a catfish fisherman. Okay, I do a little bit of carp, but essentially at the moment it's trout and catfish. Okay, for trout, okay, I pretty much amass a whole bunch of trout dough and other things. Okay, so I purchased this Berkeley trout bag or package or kit that I've filled with a whole bunch of stuff in it. Okay, I have everything from a bunch of different brand trout dough, different colors. Okay, it's good for you to have a few of these different type of artificial baits. I have some power eggs in there. Okay, I've got some, again, trout dough of different colors, chartreuse, pink, name it. And I've also purchased a few of these mouse tails and some power worms. You've seen those videos where my wife uses power worms as well. So after a while of fishing trout, you know, you tend to collect a few of these items, okay, that are very useful when catching these hatchery fish. There are kits out there that concentrate highly on bass fishing, and one of these kits are these like fishing lure kits from Plosino. All right, and what's in there are a few items that you don't necessarily use. I mean, I wouldn't ever use them unless I decide to do bass fishing. So there's a few things like a frog. Okay, there's items that look like a frog. There's items that look like, you know, these worms. These are senkos. Okay, and so these senkos are essentially have specialized hooks. Okay, and these hooks, or you can either hook these senkos wacky style, when it drops in the water, it does this, and the fish apparently goes wild in that. Okay, you can also rig them Texas rig this way, or snagless, right? So that when you pull it across the weed line, it doesn't snag at all. And when the fish tries to hit that worm, they get caught on that hook. So there's a few more items that comes in this kit. Again, this kit is so expansive with respect to lure. They've got these, what they call them, spoons. Okay, as you can see, there's plenty of these spoons, and they're normally different colors. There's gold, and there's some texture in them. Okay, some of them have some texture. They look like fish. Okay, but generally they pretty much do the same thing. You know, there's a treble hook in the back, and you know, there's also these ones that actually look like fish that have multiple hooks in them. And these lures are intended to attract fish and for the fish to go after them. Okay, and all of these fake type of lures, it kind of looks like a tadpole, right? And then similarly, when you're doing bass fishing, for the most part, you would arm yourself with a bait casting type of rod and reel as well. All right, and I'm not much of a bass fisherman, and I barely know how to operate these things. But the idea here is a cast and retrieve type of technique, when you actually you have heavier type of baits that you cast out and you retrieve fast. Okay, it's different from trout though, when you just do bottom fishing and you let the fish find your bait above the weed line, and that's it, you catch them. Lure kits are essentially used for a cast and retrieve type of technique, wherein you use bait casting rod and reel combination. You cast it out and you retrieve it, and it depends on the type of technique, whether it's drop shot or, you know, you're pulling a senko through the weed line. Again, you know, it's best that you use a bait casting type of rig. You've also seen those Zebcos. Okay, the Zebcos, the old school, those are called spin casters. I would be much more comfortable using those, because to me they're closer to a spinning type of reel combination. But again, I haven't even begun to explore bass fishing at the moment, and I know we've got viewers out there that says you guys should do some bass fishing videos. So someday, hopefully soon, but not at the moment. Anyway, okay, as far as bait goes, you have to match the type of bait that you would use depending on the type of species that you're actually fishing for. So at the moment, it's catfish season. Okay, and I know Leilani likes to go catfishing because it's a nighttime type of fishing, and it's not bigger, better, bigger fish, and and they pull even harder. Okay, and they like the catfish like to spin around, and you know, rightfully it's more fun. And at night also during the summer, it's nice and cool, so we don't have to stand around in a hot summer sun and so on. All right. Okay, as first-time anglers out there, you don't necessarily have to decide whether you should get yourself a spinning reel, rod and reel combination, or a bait casting rod and reel combination. Okay. Again, these are two different techniques. Okay. The bait casting type of a rod and reel combination, again, is a cast and retrieve type of technique. It's active fishing. You throw a lure out there and you retrieve it. Whereas a spinning type of rod and reel combination is something that you would, again, you can do a cast and retrieve on that. Okay, I've seen a lot of anglers that fish actively with a spinning rod and reel, but you also use that technique for essentially lazy fishing, when you you do bottom fishing, you cast it out there, you set it in your rod holder, and then you just leave it there and you wait until your bobber goes up or your bell strikes, okay, and you get a strike with the bell indicator. So essentially you don't necessarily have to decide on whether you should use spinning reel or bait casting reel, okay, combination. But the idea here is what you need to decide is whether, you know, you should go out there and go fishing. That's the first step. Step number two, buy yourself a general purpose rod and reel combination. And what I do recommend is you get one of these standard spinning, okay, type of rod and reel combo. So when buying a rod and reel combination, you also need to decide whether you want a single blank type of rod as well as dual blank type of rod. The longer rods, you know, if you go with a single piece rod, that's a pretty long rod to transport. So you need to consider your vehicle if you're transporting a single piece rod. I highly recommend that you purchase a dual piece rod, so you can break it down to, you know, rather manageable size. You know, the dual pieces, you know, come in different sizes as well. They go from, you know, 5-footers all the way to 10-footers if that's what you want. The longer the rod itself, the farther that you can cast, okay, and the shorter they are, you know, there's definitely purpose for these type of rods. You can even buy these dock demons, you know, if you're just fishing from the dock. But, you know, for general purpose, get yourself either a 5.5 or a 6-foot dual piece rod. So as a first-time angler, you don't necessarily want to spend a whole lot of money on gear and tackle. Okay, you just need to get yourself a general purpose rod and reel. Okay, get yourself the correct leader material depending on the species that you're targeting, and then you get yourself the appropriate bait. Okay, so as far as bait goes, you know, you can go natural bait, you can go artificial bait. Okay, and for trout, again, you have these hatchery trouts. You know, they go for, you know, these trout dough. Okay, and as far as these catfish, these hatchery catfish, they go for the basic chicken liver, shrimp, and all that. So you need to figure out exactly what type of species that you're going to target. We haven't even talked about carp. You know, we barely talked about bass. You know, I showed you a few of the things that bass fishermen out there use: Senko, frogs, you know, crankbaits. Well, you know, again, these are for active fishing. Again, you need to figure out the type of species that you want to target out there. Many different lakes offer different type of fish, and so you just need to decide what it is exactly that you're fishing for. If you're fishing for fun, you're fishing for a fish that you can actually bring home and eat. Okay, and that's me. All right. So anyway, a lot of these products are available out there. You just need to get yourself the basic starter kit. So anyway, I hope you guys learned from this video. There's a lot of gear and tackle that we talked about and techniques that we hope that you guys learn. All right, so go out there and go fishing on today's Free Fishing Day. And it's also September 1st is Free Fishing Day. So as always, Come fish with us sometime. See ya. Bye.